bread or Handel's ice cream? What about Olive Arms? How about the Warner Brothers? Well, I'm sure you've all realized that these are examples of contributors in the history of Youngstown, people who have made a difference in our community and perhaps even society. So what about you? What impact will you make? Take a moment and reflect. What are your dreams for the future? Well, I'm sure you'll agree with all of us that in order to make a difference in the future, it's important to understand where we've come from, know our past, understand our roots, and that's where our project comes in. More than a mural, history lives in the city of you. We started talking and brainstorming to come up with our ideas for a project. We thought, what can we do to really showcase? The majority of us are from Youngstown, but we all live here now. We are maybe raising families, grew up here, go to school, work. We just have incredible pride and passion for this area. We've seen just a recent rebirth. We love Youngstown. A really diverse representation of individuals, places, companies, things of that nature. Take selfies, which people love to do these days, of course. Use the hashtag, share it widely. Embrace social media to help tell Youngstown's story. So that's one major way, which we'll go into a little bit more detail later. The second major way that this is interactive is an interactive website. The likeness of the mural would actually be more or less created into a homepage of the website with clickable links to learn more about the various elements that are highlighted. So it would be very much an educational tool for locals and visitors alike. So again, we hope that it would educate, allow for interaction, and engage people just as a way to, again, highlight our past and think about the future and all the impacts that everyone has the opportunity to make.
Hello again. When designing this mural, I didn't want to just portray one vision of Youngstown, my vision. I didn't want to exclude the possibility of collaboration, an act of working with others that can yield a better result than working alone. And so I designed a mural that needs other artists' contributions to be complete. The subject of the mural, an androgynous African-American child, is the single largest human being displayed on the mural, representing Youngstown's future and hope for a better tomorrow. Yet without knowing our past, we could not build on its future. That child's act of blowing bubbles of Youngstown's history represents how this integration of our history will be integral to building our tomorrow. There will be 6 bubbles in total, one bubble depicting art, another law and politics, sports, community and culture, industry, and lastly, foods. I just have another sample rendering, although it's very small here. This is a sample rendering of art and a sample rendering of food, and in this one I just drew the famous Snap the Whip from the Butler's permanent collection, a Puddler poet from the 19th century, Michael McGovern, who also worked in the steel mills and was an immigrant. And lastly, I'm sure many of you are familiar with the 1970s and 1980s rock band star Dennis Sosnowski from Left End. And then over here, I just put a render of Handles, the Golden Dawn, and just various pizzas because everyone knows Youngstown has the best pizza. And so 7 artists will be commissioned in total, 6 different artists for each bubble, and then 1 artist for the cityscape that frames the lower part of the mural. And we will, again, look for talented and experienced muralists to commission, and I will be the 8th artist painting the child. And we will give them, of course, artistic freedom over the style and the content, and we'll encourage their own particular styles, so that, again, this won't just be one style of art. But we will place an emphasis on diversity, wanting not just, the people who have made the history books to necessarily be represented, but for them to dig deeper into Youngstown's history and uncover those people who might not have been represented in the past. In addition, again, the most interactive section of the mural will be the City of View logo with the mirror in place of the O, and it will be framed in the lower section of the mural so that people can easily take selfies with it. And this will do 2 things, right? It will allow a motivation, a reason to come back to the mural even though you might have already gone to it once. So people will keep on coming back to maybe take selfies. And secondly, everyone loves to post selfies online, and we will promote this hashtag City of View so we can create more of an awareness. And in total, we were hoping that this might become a tourist attraction to people coming to And just overall, the mural's main themes are diversity and history so that we can build a better tomorrow in Youngstown. Thank you.
So a ton of money in cities is spent on things that isolate. They're not spent on things that promote community. We put armrests in the middle of benches. We put more parking spaces, and we put up no loitering signs. This is going to be the most boring part of this presentation when I talk to you about our budget. But I want to go through the details so you can see our intention in putting money towards collective spaces, community engagement, and not things that continue to isolate. I'm going to also look at my paper a lot so I don't get the numbers wrong, so excuse me for that. The $20,000 is broken down in a pretty straightforward way, with the largest portion of money going to stipends of $1,000 each to the 7 artists. A formal call for mural artists will be made. We just saw a recent one put out by Land Studio that will model probably the formal call chosen after that. These mural artists, like Georgia said, we'd like to be culturally representative and community-minded, but also talented and be able to do a good job on the mural. These artists will be responsible for a portion of the mural, but will be managed by a concept manager who will also receive a $1,000 stipend. This $8,000 to artists is money that is being funneled back into the community, supporting creativity and creating a vibrant community space. In terms of supplies and materials, we have $5,800 that's been budgeted for paint and supplies. $200 additional is budgeted for an outdoor 3-foot by 5-foot mirror. The support was provided to us with installation from Youngstown Mirror and Glass. An additional $1,000 is being set aside for potential decking or a platform to allow people to look into the mirror depending on kind of the arrangement of the mural on the brick wall. $3,000 is put aside for contracting someone to build us an interactive website. That is not a talent we have, so we'll have to pick someone to do that. And then finally, $400 stipends are set aside as stipends for the project leadership team. The distribution of our funds prioritizes money being spent on features that will last over time and benefit the community, but also money being spent that we don't have to touch again and doesn't need money to continue to maintain the project. So there is emphasis put on quality design, but also sustainability.
So to tie things all together, I'd like to talk to you about the themes that we've identified and how this fits into the INPLACE project. We've identified our project as representing 2 themes, actually, that tie very strongly together, and those are technology and wayfinding. So in terms of technology, we've already mentioned that we want to have a website that goes along with the mural. And so the website is going to do a couple of different things. One is it's basically, as you can see, a little depiction here, the main part of the website will be just a picture of the mural itself. And so people will be able to go see the mural and then see that we have this website associated with it so that they can learn more about all of the different people, places, and things that are depicted in the mural itself. And when they go to the website, they'll be able to click on the different aspects to learn more about those people, places, and things. And so when they click on those links, they'll be taken to static pages that will give them the history of those people and those places and things. So for example, they can click on a picture of the Creek Park and learn about how it was founded and what it's all about. There's also some other things that we'd like to do with the website because this is a project where we are talking about history but also our future. And so we want people to know what's going on presently in the city as well. So along with the picture of the mural where they can learn about the past, we want them to also know about our present. And so we will have links to different current Youngstown websites and list of events and things that they can engage in the city today. There's also things that we can do. Obviously, technology is always growing, and there's lots of opportunities that we can take advantage of through social media, as people have mentioned already, with hashtags and Twitter and Facebook, posting pictures, taking selfies. And we also think that the website could potentially be a place where people can also share their own stories of how they remember some of the things that we've depicted. Maybe they were related to some of these people that we've depicted. Maybe they have their own personal stories of how they have experienced these things themselves. And so we think that that's also a possibility with the website, that people could put their own personal stories in there. So that's the technology aspect, but also ties very strongly into highlight. We have a lot of pride and passion in our city, and we want to draw those things out, and we want visitors and residents of the city to remember these things and how much impact they've had on all of our lives. And so it's one giant tool for wayfinding, not only in its place on the wall downtown, but also through the website. We envision it becoming kind of like a Youngstown to-do list. And so when people come to the website, not only are they going to learn about the history of Youngstown, but along with the historical aspect, we want to also linked to how people can experience those things right now. And so when they click on, for example, Olive Arms, they will not only find out about her personal history, but also be directed to the Arms Museum to go and take a tour. When they click on a picture of the penalty flag, they'll learn that not only the history of how it came to be, but did you know that you can actually see one of the original penalty flags in Stanball Stadium? And so we envision this becoming, like I said, like a checklist or to-do list of the city where people can click on all these different things, learn about the history, but also experience it and go around. It's a great educational tool for families, for residents, for visitors to learn about our city. And so just to end, I hope that you can all see that we have so much pride and passion in Youngstown, as we've all mentioned. Whether we grew up here or moved here, I hear so many stories about people just falling in love with the city. It's an amazing place to be. There's so many wonderful things and wonderful people that come out of this place, and we want everybody to experience that sees our mural. And so we just hope that people are able to use the mural as a way to learn more about the city, to generate some pride, and hopefully, especially through the mirror, be able to place themselves not only in the history but also in the future of Youngstown, the city of you. Thank you. Okay. If you have any questions, we can answer those as well.
Questions?
Talk a little bit about how each of what each of your roles
Our roles?
is in the
Or background?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Sure. Well, professionally, I work for the university in university events, but I've been, part of the community. I was one of the born and raised categories, and I originally, kind of talked with these folks, said, hey, do you want to do this? Like, I didn't have an idea per se. I had a few little, snippets of ideas, but I just thought, how cool would it be to work with a team of your choosing, who has passion for the city, is really how it started to that end. And so we all kind of came together, brought some of our individual ideas, and it just kind of evolved into, a larger project that somehow, all of our individual how we divided it. Gosh, I'm not even sure. It's kind of been a blur. I mean, it's just been a natural evolving process. It's been, sort of organic from the beginning. You guys can fill in the blanks better than I can, but I can at least tell you maybe how it started.
Yeah, I'll give a little bit about my background. I'm the only newbie to Youngstown, so I relocated from the Cleveland area for a job at the university. But my dissertation focused on place attachment and racial identity and history. So these kind of merge, I think, in terms of where my passion is and where I see the importance of history in terms of understanding your identity. I think that kind of plays out in it. I just wanted to make friends. That's why I did this, and it was a great opportunity to work with some people and kind of build into that. But
And I also work at Youngstown State in the College of STEM as an outreach and scholarship coordinator. Born and raised here in Youngstown, and process on Allison's in combination with my always being here, for our entire life. And so that perspective, I think, came together really well. And I'm a YSU student. I'm currently a senior, and I'm not in Bliss, actually. I'm a double major in English studies and Spanish with a minor in religious studies, so I'm very humanity focused. But I'm also a film photographer and artist, and I've been doing art ever since I was younger. And I was contacted to be the designer of this mural, which struck me at the time as something that I felt overwhelmed by that idea. But I think looking at what we've done and how we've designed it, I feel very passionately towards this. And so I would like to continue. If we receive the grant, I would be the project manager. So that's my role. Director of the Honors College, who actually helped us on Georgia. She has a family obligation, was not able to be here today, but she made the connection. And Georgia joined our team at the point that we had a little bit of. And I also would like to add, we completely forgot about this, but seeing as I'm a Spanish major, if we receive this grant, I would like to James, our process, we identified the city, we identified some things that we thought would be great to highlight, and then when Georgia came up with the idea of the bubbles, that's when we went through our list and basically created these themes for the different bubbles, and so each artist would get a theme, and then a list, I think, of potential things to highlight that we would vet, and so we would, we're open to suggestions on list of things that we would want them to portray in their bubble, and then it'd be up to them to come up with that concept.
Or could portray.
Yeah,
right.
could portray. It wouldn't have to be all of
But
it.
they would have art or culture, community, or politics. Based on.
So you'd be willing to consider a selection that would involve some diversity?
Oh, yeah.
What I'm finding to be odd is that
Absolutely.
there's this African American girl blowing bubbles, but then from what you guys were saying, I didn't get anything connecting to the African American community.
I think because
You know,
we're still in the process
Okay.
of developing a full list.
Okay.
Well,
And keep in mind too that we chose because identity matters, right? And so I thought it was important to include an African American androgynous or genderless child in this because from my own experiences as a YSU student, just a quick fact, we have like a small Korean enclave, but then if you look at the university, which is my kind of focus group or my focus with designing this mural, we have 90% of YSU students are white, and we have 10% of students African American. And then when we actually look at retaining those students, the numbers just go down. Like YSU has a problem with retaining African American students, and so African Americans aren't graduating. So my thought wasn't I didn't want to politicize this, but I wanted to have somebody that the African American students, all the way from kindergarten to college can look downtown and they can see an identity marker that they can feel, in line with and feel like, okay, I'm represented here, and hopefully that will get social justice point with having an African American child. But then when you come to the bubbles, again, the idea of just having diversity of style. So if somebody is an abstract muralist or somebody wants to use spray paint or whatever they would like to do. Again, we were just given that list of specific people, and then from there, they would have the job of designing their specific bubble.
And also, you guys don't know yet who your web designer is, or is that?
We met with one group we met with one organization to do it, to get an idea price-wise of it, but they are not by any means people we would go with. But we did meet with someone to describe the concept to them to see, but no, we wouldn't have that.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
We gotta move on.
Oh, sorry. All right. Thanks,
Great job. Just
I'm
take
just
the
gonna-
boards down and come over there. 5 minutes late,
Yeah.
so